So I'm going to do monthlies, and although I'm going to continue doing it by element, but I realised it was a bit generalised last time. So I think what I'm going to do this time is pull separately for each of the signs in the element. Give a better chance of messages coming through. Just clear all my decks and stuff. Clear my area. So I think I'm going to start with Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So Gemini first. Oops. These are the energies for Gemini. So we've got two, we've got witness and reason. Overall energy, so it says to know personal evidence, to speak out. And then reason, it says listens to advice, think clearly and intellect. It's 15, which breaks down to a 6, which is getting beyond the turmoil. And the witness is 29, which breaks down to 11, which breaks down to 2, which is about duality. Options, choices. So it may well be that you've witnessed something, or you're partaking in something, or there's something that you're going to be called to give evidence on in some way. You may have something to do with it somehow, so you may be kind of torn as to whether you want to partake in this, or it may be that it's to do with someone that's connected really close to you, who you might be concerned about getting them into trouble in some way. All right, so then we've got Wailing Tree, reconciliations. Okay. So reconciliations, it's 59, which is 14, which is a 5, which is about change. So I'm thinking in this instant, like the tree, it almost looks like, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it almost looks like the tree's on fire. It's like the tree's burning, which might be why it's wailing. So there may be a decision that you've got to make in regards to coming forward with something or accepting something. Maybe there's something that you've seen or witnessed that you now have to kind of put into perspective and come forward with. You may have to come forward with. And I almost get like the reason card here. I almost get a feeling like you're having to reason with self about this decision that you're going to have to make for something that you've witnessed, or something that some knowledge of something that you've kind of caught wind of and that you need to speak out on. And it's asking you to kind of use your mind and think clearly and listen to advice. So maybe if you sat on some information and you've not shared it yet, or you've not opened your mouth about it, maybe it's time that you spoke to somebody else in confidence, somebody that you can trust, just to gauge how somebody else might deal with the situation or the advice that they may give you in that respect. It may also take in that respect, though, it may also take this situation out of your hands, because if it's something that needs to be spoke about and it's something quite bad, it may be that they forward on the information, so it may be that. But then, like, when with the reason card there, in that respect, it would be you would maybe not, maybe you'd be a bit pissed off if somebody done that, but you'd be able to reason with it that at the end of the day, you know, they've only done what's right and what's fair and what's just in the situation. With the wailing tree and reconciliations there, I'm almost getting like a feeling of you reconciling yourself to the fact that, you know, you've got to do something and it's going to hurt. Whatever you've got to do, it's going to hurt. So it's going to hurt on some degree, some level. And you have to reconcile that fact within yourself. It may also be like, from the image there, like there's a face in the tree and it looks like the tree's on fire. It may also be like kind of reconciling the fact that maybe, you know, this fire that you find in yourself in, this turmoil that you find in yourself in, that you may actually start to feel or believe is somebody else's fault. If you've spoken to somebody else and they go on to pass on this information to another or an authority or something like that, you may feel like they've kind of burned you in some kind of way. But in reality, you've got to reconcile with yourself that no, this was a fire that was already lit and it needed to be dealt with. So it's finding like the reasoning within it. It's asking you to use your mind in this. There's a few messages for Gemini. Thing down. So we've got Judgment, the Seven of Swords, sorry, and the Magician. So the Judgment card is this. The Judgment card is all about. To me, the Judgment card's all about being able to look yourself in the mirror and say you've done the right thing. With the Seven of Swords, fate, and it's almost like the Seven of Swords is creeping into it. You may have learned or come by some information about somebody and they've come to you, but it's something that's not sitting right with you. It's something that's not going to sit right with you, and you're going to do the right thing. And I think maybe even in speaking to somebody else about it, you kind of, even though you may be initially pissed off, initially like kind of wounded, feeling like this person's burnt you, I feel like in the back of your mind, you kind of almost kind of brought this to be. You've kind of willed this to be. It's almost like it's been a bit of a plan to take it out of your hands almost, and get this information out there. And it's almost like, but at the same time, I feel like a weird feeling like you're still going to be pissed off that this person has gone on to spread it. And it's almost like because you're still feeling a bit panicked at the fact that it's going to come back. Someone's going to need to speak to you at some point. But it's almost like it's been orchestrated to play out a way, I'm getting a feeling of. So think if this makes sense to anyone, then I feel like however this plays out, it's going to play out the right way. And I feel like if you're considering speaking to somebody else, remind yourself that if you do and they go on to pass on this information and make this information known, or they go on to share something with someone, that they're doing so because it's the right thing to do. They're not doing it just to be a nasty person to you. And I also feel like really kind of orchestrating it, so this is the way it kind of comes out. So it's kind of like maybe you just go to somebody in confidence and they've like betrayed your confidence, and it can look that way. But I feel like it's a way to get it out. It's almost like it's just a way to get it out. Like if it comes from me to somebody else, I've not gone speaking to somebody for it, but I've spoken to somebody else because I just needed to get something off my chest or clear my own head of something. And if they go on to like kind of speak on this issue, then it's kind of not my fault, you know. But remember that, you know, it's not their fault either. You've kind of put something to them, and they might just be able to be the one that steps up to do this. So try and reconcile this fact with yourself that, you know, nobody set you on fire. Nobody's set you on fire. Nobody's doing anything to be malicious. They're doing it because it's the right thing, and because in the end up, like, where you've got to remember when you carry things like with the judgment card, when we carry stuff with us that we know is wrong or we know is bad, or you know, you're accruing karma. And do you want to accrue karma on somebody else's behalf? So it's like, remember that you're accruing karma, and if you know something and you don't tell and something else happens, then this is on your conscience. This is, you know, not saying that you're going to pay for their mistakes in any way, but it plays on your conscience, and that's the karma that comes to you from it. It will play on your conscience. You will forever have that in your mind and forever have the guilt. I would rather clear my mind of something than have the guilt about it for years to come and never be able to kind of get it off my chest or speak on it or anything. So it may well be that this, you know, if you do speak to somebody else, there may be somebody else that's like kind of asking you, all right, what's going on and all this. It may well be that you need to speak to them, get it out, and allow it to like run its course, because I feel like they may be the one that kind of brings it to the light. They may be the one that brings it to the light. But this fire was already burning, so reconcile yourself to the fact that this fire was already burning. Nobody set you alight. Nobody's done anything to you. You were already, yeah, I feel like if this situation is relevant to you, you're already in a precarious situation. The fire is already lit. That's what I'm getting for Gemini. I'm just going to pause this a minute and then we'll get into Libra.